The end of the year is fast approaching, but there is still more than enough time for you to change your financial situations. Maybe you had plans all throughout this year for your different money goals, maybe life got in the way, or maybe you were able to accomplish some of these things, but you were not able to accomplish the others. There is more than enough time for you to change your story. And even if you were able to hit your goals, you can still do even better. So, what are those things that you can do now to help you accelerate your results before the end of the year and even attain financial success? We're going to break down every single thing in this video. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. On this channel, we discuss finance, travel, business, and all things in between. So if you are very new to this channel, I'd love for you to stick around. Go ahead and click on the subscribe button. It would really help my channel grow. And give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. I'm going to share with you 3 actionable strategies that once you start applying them from today, you'll be able to change your financial story, turn things around, and truly attain financial breakthrough. The first thing you need to do is your year-end money audit. Very, very crucial. Trust me, you do not want to skip this. This is the time where you are going to take a deep dive into your financial situation, look at the previous trends over the last 3 to 6 months, take a look at how your money has performed, and now start to take serious action. If you have kids, or if you have a family, or you have a partner, I'll recommend you do that. And of course, for the kids, make sure it's age appropriate for them. If they are of age where you can discuss money matters with them, I think it's nice for you to get your kids involved in family finances or even money matters so they can start to learn financial literacy from a very young age. If you don't have kids, you can do it with your friends. You can also do it on your own as well. Just take some time. I highly recommend you dedicate at least 1 hour to work on these things. So go ahead and download your bank statement for the last 3 to 6 months, including your credit card statements as well. This is very crucial, especially if you don't have a budget, because the next plan from here is for you to take a look at your income, take a look at your expenses, and compare both of them. See how your money has been performing. Have you always overspent, or do you find that you're spending more than you are earning? Or do you find that you have money left aside but you are not using it the right way? You are not putting your money to work, you are not investing. Take a deep look at your expenses, take a look at your income as well, because sometimes we think that we earn more than we are spending, but in reality, maybe your expenses is actually more than your income. So do some analysis here. I would highly recommend you use a budget spreadsheet, because that will be the next step. If you are someone that you're not into spreadsheets, definitely just use a pen and a paper, or the notes on your phone is very easy to use. There are several apps that you can use, that you can easily download from App Store or Google Store and start to use them for your budgeting needs. I personally use a budget spreadsheet. I'll link my budget spreadsheet below. It makes my life 10 times easier. So what you're going to do now, after taking a look at all of your income, your expenses, and just seeing the pattern, you now know how much you consistently spend on each individual categories of your expenses. Now I want you to break them down. The good thing about using this budget spreadsheet that I've shared with you, which is the same one I use, is all the expenses are categorized accordingly for you. So like your bills, your subscriptions, your investments, your savings, your card payments, your student loan, all of these things, you can easily track them using the budget spreadsheet. But if you don't, now you know, take a look at your bank statement again, see those areas where you have been spending money on, and start to allocate how much you need to spend on those things. For example, keep track of your rent or your mortgage payments, keep track of your monthly bills, keep track of your utilities, your food, your groceries, how much are you saving. Take a look at all of these things. The very crucial thing you want to pay attention to from this activity is to make sure that your income is way more than your expenses. If it's the other way around, then we're in trouble. It's time for us to now go back again and take a look and see what we can fix and what we can change. It's either you cut back on your expenses, or you have to figure out ways to increase your income, which we're going to talk about later on in this video. Now that you're doing your year-end money audit, your final results at the end of that 1 hour money date. I love to call it money dates because it's just that time where you set aside to take a look at your finances. What the outcome from that money date would be a budget that you're going to use all throughout the remaining months of this year. With that budget, you want to make sure that every money that you're earning, you're keeping track of it, and every expenses you're incurring, you're keeping track of it. This brings me to the second part of your money audit. Now that you've been able to see how much you're earning, how much you're spending, whatever you'll have left over, would now go into other things like your savings, your investing, and this is where savings strategy or debt repayment strategy will come in. Step number 2, this is the year-end debt repayment strategy. If you have any debt, credit card debt, student loan, car payments, all of this kind of loan, I highly recommend you take a look at your debt as well. You can do this during your year-end money audits. Just set aside some extra time to take a look at your debt repayment strategy. If you have high interest debt, you want to make sure you prioritize paying those off first. Very crucial. Before you start to think about putting your money elsewhere into anything else, it is very important for you to prioritize paying down your debt so that you can have breathing room and stop paying too much money on interest. A lot of people don't understand the cost of their debt. That is why they keep on holding on to it and it continues to increase and increase from there. So what you want to do is take a look at your credit card statements or whatever debt you have. Find out how much interest you are paying. If you don't know how much interest you're paying, then you're not going to know the true cost of debt. So go ahead and use the calculator that I'm going to leave below. It will help you see how much your cost of debt is, which is the interest you are going to be paying for not paying off that credit card balance that you're carrying for several months now. Now that you have clarity on how much debt you have clarity on how much you're owing on each individual credit types, you know how much in total you're owing, you know what the interest cost is. Also keep track of the minimum payments. This is the minimum amounts that you have to pay no matter what. If you don't pay this minimum balance, it's going to affect your credit score. So you want to make sure that you stay committed to paying the minimum balance at all times. Now, from your budget, you would have seen how much you have left aside. This is the point where you now start to prioritize some of those extra balance that you have into your budget for paying down your debt. Let's say, for example, you've been paying only $100 towards your credit card. Now is the time for you to double that amount and double down on it. Start to put in more money to pay off that credit as soon as possible. My recommendation is, depending on the credit type, there are different ways you can stack them. So let's say you still have mortgage, you have line of credit, you have student loan, you have credit card payments, you have all these different types of car payments as well. I would say you should start with the ones with the highest interest cost. The higher interest is typically the credit card. I would say you prioritize paying off that credit card, then you move off onto the next deck. If you have multiple credit cards, what you can do here is to take a look at the credit card with the lowest balance and pay that off first so that you have breathing room and you know you're done with that one and you move on to the next one and you can go from there. If you don't have any high interest debt, I want to highly recommend for you to start setting money aside for your emergency savings if you don't have one. So from your budget as well, now you know how much you have left. It is time for you to start to set aside money towards your emergency fund. I highly recommend you set aside between 3 to 6 months of your monthly living expense as your emergency fund. Pro tip for you is to put this money into a high interest savings account. A high interest savings account will earn you extra interest instead of leaving that money in a regular checking account. If you live in Canada, I'll leave the link to one of my most recommended high interest savings accounts. You can definitely go sign up. To break this further down, let's take a look at an example of what your monthly living expense could be. Let's say you live in New York City and you have to spend $3,000 every month on rent, $1,000 on food, utilities, and all that, and maybe additional $1,000 on other miscellaneous expenses. That brings you to a total of $5,000 every single month. Depending on your family size as well, this would form the total cost for you. Now, you want to multiply that $5,000 by 3 months, which gives you $15,000, or 6 months, which gives you $30,000. So that means as a New York resident whose monthly expense is $5,000, your emergency fund is expected to be between $15,000 to $30,000. Now, I know this might seem like a stretch of money to, save if you don't have it already. My recommendation is for you to start small. How much can you consistently set aside from your monthly or bi-weekly paycheck to help you save towards your emergency fund? Statistics show that more than 70% of Canadians and Americans do not have even $1,000 set aside for emergency purposes, and that is why they continue to go into debt. If you don't have an emergency fund, you would always continue to accumulate more debt, which is why having an emergency fund is very crucial, because life can happen at any time. The third step is for you to get into your year-end income boost. This is where you start to come up with strategies to help you increase your income. Because again, as much as I want you to review your cost and cut back on all of those expenses that you no longer need, when you do your year-end money audit, you want to take some time to also cut down and remove some expenses, those things that are irrelevant, cut them out so that you can have more room in your budget to save, to invest, to pay down your debt. Now, my own recommendation all day, every day is to prioritize increasing your income. Of course, it's much easier for you to start with cutting back on your expenses. However, the long-term plan should be for you to boost and increase your income. So what are some of those things that you can do to help you boost your income? Number one is to increase the income from your primary income stream. So let's say you have a job. Maybe you can talk to your manager or your employer to see if they can increase your pay, or maybe you can negotiate another salary, or maybe you can even switch your jobs, move to a different industry, apply for a new job. The end of the year is literally the perfect time for you to switch between your jobs and start getting paid even more. So start applying for jobs. It will help you potentially boost your income. Next is for you to take out a second job. I know most people don't want a second job, but trust me, it's also one of the easiest way for you to actually boost your income. So if you can take maybe an evening job or a weekend job, this is highly, highly recommended. Next is for you to start a side hustle. As the end of the year is fast approaching, there are more and more opportunities for you to make more money. So maybe it's time for you to set up that side hustle, maybe start an online business, start an Etsy store, start a new skill. Maybe you can even learn something that can help you potentially increase your income. There are several things that you can do to help you boost your income. These and many more are what we talked about in my community Smart Money Group. I would love for you to join us. The link to join Smart Money Group would be below in the description box. What we do in Smart Money Group is every single month we address different financial topics, and in the next coming months we're going to be discussing ways to use AI tools to boost your income. So if you really want to be a part of that, I highly recommend you join us. We also cover things like investing, debt repayment, credit building, real estate, financial planning, and a whole lot more. Trust me, Smart Money Group is that community that every single person needs to attain their financial goals. I would love to see you in the community. So use the link below to join us. I'm offering every single one of you watching this video right now a discount, an exclusive discount. Yup. So go ahead and use the code YouTube to get additional 40% discount to join the community. Trust me, I'm all about helping you all reach your money goals. So use the code so that you can join us in Smart Money Group. So now you have 3 actionable steps that you can start to implement from today to help you hit your money goals before the end of the year. To recap again, take that 1 hour to do your year-end money audit. Assess your income and your expenses. Look at those expenses you would have to cut back on. Number 2 is to come up with a debt repayment strategy. If you don't have any debt, definitely save up your money or start to invest. If you do have debt, prioritize paying down the high interest debt so that you can reduce your interest cost. And last but not the least is to seek ways to boost your income. This is what I like to call the year-end income boost, so that you can find new different strategies to help you boost your income. And also, I would love to see you in Smart Money Group. If you enjoyed watching this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this video. And yeah, let me know what other topics you would like for me to cover. I'll see you in my next video.